Hello and welcome to Enfield. Hope everyone has been having a wonderful time watching or even playing Enfield. I have, and man, it's been amazing so far. Like, H3 has really put their soul into this game, and you can tell. So that means I'm going to be making a series of guides around Arknights Endfield and all things new to mess around with. And just to let you know, this is subject to change because it is a closed beta. But it's going to give you like general knowledge of how you can prepare for Enfield that's going to be coming out later this year. So to start things off, the very first one is going to be a navigation guide for those who are curious on what you can expect throughout the menus, and I'm going to give a little explanation on what these things are. Again, what you're seeing could be changed on the full release of the game. Alright, so starting things off, I want to begin with the main menu screen, since this is the thing you will be seeing the most, since it's quite literally permanently on your screen. Therefore, getting used to things on the screen will be really useful to know on a workflow point of view. So for these ones, I'm going to go over lightly because in the menu there will be the same thing but better to look at in a sense. So starting things off, on the top left we have the map. This map will show you the icons, trackers and a bird's eye view of the map. As you guys know, you can also click on M or click on the map to open a more detailed and larger version of it. Below it we have missions. Here you can see all current and active missions, while below that we have the current missions you are targeting at the moment. And then to the right of the map we have a chat bubble icon, and this is really cool though. So this is where you can text your obtain operators. So for example, the operators you get from Headhunting, you can go ahead and wait for a text from them. But not only that, you can get side story missions from here, which you get from answering text that you receive. So in the very top left, we have a button that allows you to switch from Explore mode to AIC mode. Explore mode is basically how you would venture and fight around the map. AIC mode is basically a mode for your factory building. So this allows you to see your placeable facilities and other advantages when you are building your base. And it just makes things a lot more easier, a lot more clearer. So to the right of that is your AIC skill tree. And next to that is your mailbox. Next is the bottom left. Here you can see your current team of operators, which items you have equipped to them, and whoever you're controlling. This can be pretty important to look at sometimes, because if you're planning to like cycle through operators, you can basically see who's next in the cycle. Or if you want to check their current HP, you can do that there. And then to the bottom right, you have your operator skills. And if you did not know, you can use these skills no matter the operator you are using, since your team is active throughout the entire playthrough. Like, they're always active. You can always see them fighting alongside you. You can also see your ultimate, which has a bar around it showing how close it is to being charged up. Then above your skills is your scan. So similar to Genshin, it'll show all the interactables around the map in that area that you scanned. So next is the top right of the screen, which I will be going over quickly, again because it's all in the menus. So going from left to right, this is your guide, headhunting, stash, backpack, team, operators, and your Proto sync, which is basically the menu. Alright, now that's out the way, let's take a look at the menu, which is basically called the Proto sync. So here it might look a bit overwhelming, but honestly once you learn where everything is, it's actually super easy to get used to and navigate around. So first, let's start in the settings in the top left. As usual, here you can change your graphic settings, which is pretty important if you have a potato PC or you're trying to play on your mobile phone and you need to change your settings. And besides that is the sound tab. Then we have controls and hotkeys. Sadly, you cannot change the hotkeys though, which is quite unfortunate, because I probably would have put so many keys on my mouse, but sadly you can't change these hotkeys as of right now. Then you have language, which you can change the text or the voiceover language. And finally, you have account settings at the end. So next to settings, we have the icon that is similar to Arknights. Here you can see upcoming news and events revealed by HG officially, and it'll also have a section for notices for more server-based news. And next to that we have mail. Here you can claim all the rewards sent to you via your mailbox and read messages sent to you from HG, which is lovely as usual. Then all the way to the right is a box section, and this is your breaking news. This showcases current events such as banners for now, but I'm speculating that it's also going to show actual events in the future. So next, let's talk about the currency. Here in the middle, you can see your main currency in the game, which you're probably going to be spending on either sanity or gacha currency. So this doesn't include T-creds, which is basically your LMD, which for some reason they don't show here, not sure why, but maybe they will in the future. But anyway, left is your Ori geometry, and on the right is your Oro barrel. So if you've played Arknights, think of it as your OP and the rundum. It's basically the same concept. If you haven't played Arknights, it's basically a form of gacha currency. So below this is your sanity, which you can use for your index, and we're going to basically touch up on this later in the video. And then all the way at the bottom here is everything factory AIC related. So firstly, this button here has a section for your factory skill tree for the AIC. Here you can unlock various upgrades and new facilities for your AIC. It might look confusing, but it's literally just unlocking upgrades over time. The only restriction is that you need to farm these like wavy dudes to unlock them. It's really easy to do, you just click on them basically. And there's also a section called Simulation, which is a tutorial for the factory. And finally, above these buttons, like the report, it shows how much electricity is being used around the map since there's a limit. And I believe the one next to it is your base production percentage. Before I move on to the buttons, you can also see your player ID at the bottom. Currently it's not interactable, you can't add people or do anything like that, but you can see your user ID and authority level. Alright, so let's move on to the buttons you can see on the left and right. So starting with the left is operators. Here you can see all the operators that you've obtained throughout the game through headhunting, the ones that's been given to you, blah 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 blah. There's also another view here in the bottom left if you don't want to scroll through the top. So simply, here you can view stats, skills, and your operators' passives. So if you ever need to see what your operators do, this is the place. Here is where you'll be leveling and promoting your operators too. Like Arknights, it has a system where you must go through promotions. Also, you will also be unlocking skills and passives here as well. The next section, you can equip operator weapons and upgrade them here. This section, you can equip all your necessary gear and equipment. And then finally, this section is for your potentials. Same system as Arknights when you need to get one of the same operator to get a token to unlock their potential. Other than that, there are a few other quirks such as a whole section to read the operator's lore, and of course to view the operator's model. I wonder who won't be using that, huh? So next is the team. Here you can deploy and remove operators in your team. Pretty straightforward. You can also edit your team here, though switching the order of the operators seems to be something not included yet. And you may also change your team name here as well, which is really nice. Alright, so next is headhunting, the one a lot of people are interested in, of course, because, Gamba. I won't go into much detail in this video, but this is where all your pulling will consist. So when you first go on it, you'll be introduced to the newbie banner, and on the next screen will be the limited time banner. Like Arknights, you can click on the rate up operator to take a look at their stats, the model, anything in general about them, and you can also look at the headhunting stats and mechanics as usual. Sadly, there is no pulling history included yet, so hopefully that's something they will add in the future. Next we have the acquisition center, which is basically the place for exchanging your currencies at. So the first section is the Jajang Select. This is basically an area you can see everything that's on offer right now. Next is the Arsenal Exchange. Here is everything weapons, including the weapon currency gacha, purchasing weapons on rotation and lower rarity weapons. All of this can be purchased using the weapon currency which you earn from headhunting operators. After that is a certificate exchange, which is earned from headhunting. Here you can trade for tickets, materials and operators. Finally is the AIC exchange. This is farmed from the weapon gacha. Here you can purchase general materials. Alright, now let's go over the options on the right side. First, we have sign in. As of right now, it's just login events where you can log in daily to get various rewards. There isn't currently a calendar, though I will speculate that there's going to be one in the future. Next is the guide. This one's pretty big and important since it's really more on your progression throughout the game. So first of all, we have the manual. This is basically like the campaign missions we have in Arknights, and they're basically progression tasks where you can earn a bunch of XP, a bunch of rewards. Okay, so next is daily missions. Here you can complete tasks to earn daily rewards. Then we have training. Here you can learn about the combat mechanics of the game. And now we have index. As mentioned before, it's a place to farm XP and materials and credits and all other various progression materials using your sanity. Next we have RE Crisis. This is basically a place where you can refight the main bosses you've already defeated in the past. So what you get from this is a first time bonus, and you also get harder difficulties if you want a challenge. So next is the unstable area. Here you can do puzzle challenges where you can earn first time rewards. And it's pretty cool because you can also get loot from these, because they have chest challenges where you can just open chests, get XP and loot, you know, basically for free. Here we also have Energy Elavium, which is pretty much rifts that you see around the map, and you can activate them to do a horde. And of course you will get first time clears and drop rewards as well, which are pretty cool. And finally, the next one is the simulation, which again is the factory AIC guide. Okay, so next we have Enfield database. This is a really cool one because it's basically a collective of items and entity logs. So firstly, you can view tutorials, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's a place where you can revisit all your tutorials. Next is enemy database. This one's pretty awesome as well, since you can revisit the enemies you faced. You can even see their models, their drops and their lore. So next is the weapon files. Here you can view every weapon currently in the game and view their stats. Same goes for the gear files. And then you have the facility files, which you can check out all the facility for the AIC, pretty much. And then finally you have the item files. Okay, so next is the Intel Archives. This place you can revisit lore gathered in missions and around the map. You can even earn currency for collecting them, so if you see them on the map, go and pick them up. The next one is your backpack. This one you will be using a lot, since it's a place where you can see all your gathered items in your inventory, and with that also your depot storage. Here you can store items in your AIC, like think of it as a big bank with all your items in there. And you can only access this when you're near AIC factory. So stemming from this is also crafting. Here you can make items from your bag, such as consumables. You can also go to the crafting menu to show gathering milestones, where you can earn rewards just for gathering. So you know, if you see some items while exploring, just go grab them, go pick them up, because you actually get rewarded for doing that, which is really cool. Next is valuables. This is basically your inventory on a wider scale. Here you can view your weapons, weapon essence, which is basically your weapon upgrades you can equip to your weapon, gear, progression, materials for your operators, mission items, and finally rare items, which is your exchangeables. And now we have gear assembly. This is where you will be making all your gear for your operators. You can see all the recipes for the gear you have unlocked, and just to let you know, you must be near a AIC to actually craft them. Alright, so now we have Outpost, and not gonna lie, at first Outpost can be a bit confusing, but put simply, it's a place where you can trade a certain material to another outpost in exchange for a currency. And the cool thing is that you can set up your AIC where it will produce these materials, so you can make a whole like factory production line pretty much. So for example, I've set mine up with amethyst bottles, which then the outpost will take. In return, I will get the currency. So it's basically again a whole production line, which then I will take this currency and you can spend it at the shop in Dijang for like a various of materials, even tickets. So this is like really cool. And next is the map. Pretty self-explanatory. You can see more detailed version of the map, so it can show things you've discovered on the map, and of course you can track them. You can also switch between these areas using these arrows, or travel to Zhejiang by pressing it at the top of the screen. And finally, the last one is missions. Here you can see a various amount of missions you have unlocked or have in progress. This tab shows all of them. And then we have duty log, which is your main mission, operator log, which I haven't unlocked yet, but I'm going to assume it's missions operators can give, or lore related missions for those operators. Then we have development log, which is a factory AIC building related missions or mechanic missions. World missions, which are the side missions you can find across the map. And finally is daily task, which you can earn some materials, and also it helps you to complete your daily tasks. And yeah, that's about it for all the menus and navigations you can find in the current beta version of Enfield, besides this button, because this happens. Jokes aside though, I don't expect much of this to change on full release, although it can change since this is the beta version of the game, so make sure just to keep that in mind. This is mainly just for people that are curious and for people that want to be prepared for the full release of the game. So I hope this video gave you a bit of insight, and prepare for some more Enfield videos on the way soon. And make sure to pop into the stream from time to time. We're going to be playing a lot of this game. And yeah, that's about it. See you soon. Bye bye.